England.
No Irish, no dogs.
No dogs.
I've seen it all.
So you blaming
That's nothing to do with the Arabs.
Who? Eh?
The Arabs themselves are victims of this kind of racism.
So for fuck's sake, come on.
No, it's all good.
We as Africans, we do not have to hold the racism of the white man. And also,
The white man is
sideline the Arabs.
Why not? I don't agree with that. No, bro.
When you say sideline,
We need to be Pan-African. We need to be Pan-African 100%.
100%
Pan-African 100%. Do you know what I mean?
But hold on.
Pan-African.
Uncle, one time.
Pan-African 100%.
That's what you have.
Nothing
You
more,
don't talk
nothing
to Arab
less.
down.
So what is it that you
don't
were
talk
doing?
to African down. Everything weird.
Bro, they've been.
Oh God.
That's not the
You
KKK
keep making the same. But what is it that
That's
you saying?
Zionism.
What you saying?
You
keep making the same.
Okay, what you say? You mean we African? We should open the door,
We are
yeah?
brothers.
We should open the door.
African,
What does that mean?
Arabs.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what's that mean?
We are human beings.
Okay, but how does that help Africa?
We all descend from Adam and Eve.
That's true, but how does that help Africa? Go ahead.
How do they help Africa? They live with friendly with their neighbors.
So collectively, which continent is doing the worst collectively?
Which continent?
Yeah, which continent is doing the worst collectively when it comes to
Latin
economic-
America.
No,
South America is doing worse.
Which people
Yeah.
own less of their own land?
The Red Indian in America are worse than African.
I know, brother.
They're not,
Believe
they're
me.
not, they're
Hold on,
not.
brother.
The
European,
the Caribs in
Be honest,
in Dominican Republic, the Caribs in the Caribbean Sea, they're being wiped out.
We're gonna believe you. Hold on,
Doesn't mean that they're racist.
Uncle, we believe you, yeah? You said
Australia.
one time, yeah?
Australia, they wiped them out completely.
You said South
They're
America.
originals.
So who wiped them out?
Hold on, Uncle.
They're the white man from Victoria.
From the racists.
Yeah, we all have one enemy.
That's what he said.
All of us have one enemy.
This is
The white man.
No.
Yes.
If you talk about
Yes.
Africa,
listen. You have to listen.
Yes.
You gotta listen.
you're right, everyone's wrong, right?
No.
Hold on,
I'm proving my own point.
Yeah, here's the point, right?
I'm here to learn.
You said South America, right? Yeah, you said South America's the worst. Like, can you see the South American indigenous person speak like you? But when it's time for them to build, they're not talking about South America.
yeah,
They're
they've
talking
got
about
gas to do
building.
it.
No, brother.
They've been putting in camps.
Okay,
They're
brother,
drinking
brother,
whiskey.
brother,
Like Daniel.
brother,
They've been
we said you're right, brother. We said you're right, but we're not going to talk on the back and forth, right? I'm saying that there's a consistency that when African black people come together, there's always someone like yourself who's spending more energy.
I am
to
African.
talk about-
I am African.
I agree.
You can't tell me you're not African.
You are 100%. Now we know
If
you
you
are.
do that, that means you've got the one man mentality.
Brother.
You want to say, this is
Brother.
an Arab,
Brother.
this is a Somali,
We-
this is an African.
no.
An Afrikaner
Brother.
who say to you,
I think it's a
I am
Somali
more
who
African
say
than
that's
an Arab.
If you keep
And
going
when
on
we
the
come to
tangent,
Holland,
brother,
I'm rubbish.
we
He's the master.
must be merciful to the thing is, brother, right? We want you to be right. We want to hear you, but you've got to stick on course, right? One at a time. Yeah. What people are saying, because they're limited resources, it's better for Africans to work with Africans to fix Africa rather than always trying to reach out. You know what I mean? That's the strategy. Yeah. It's what other people do. You said value.
He wants us to be.
So what they're saying, brother, is that's what we do. Oh, brother, because the uncles agreeing. So this is what we want. We have to get on the same page, right? Yeah. So what we're saying is, before we can go and help other people, let's help ourselves, isn't it? Right? That's what the brothers are saying.
Yes, that is nothing to do with racism.
Brother,
but
racism
why
is a
are you talking
distraction.
about racism?
Racism is a distraction.
Because
No,
you keep
you're
mentioning
talking about
because
racism.
you keep mentioning
You're
all
using that as a weapon
Yeah.
to beat yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because I don't see how racism come to when black people was in South Africa. Majority. And was being put and said, this is the black area, and this is the white area.
That's devilish. That's why what you're saying now.
Where did you hear racism being used to the Arabs? Where have you heard racism being practiced?
When you talk always about Arab did this, Arab did that, Arab did this.
Why can't we say that?
But are people allowed to mention that if collective groups come together?
Mathematically, that's wrong. Mathematically.
Okay, but what I'm
And
saying...
that's all demonizing a whole ethnicity.
Right, okay. No,
I
but
can't say, even you as Pan-African.
No.
Are you Angolan?
it's like this, yeah?
Are you Kenyan? Are you Namibian or Zimbabwean?
International, you want to be an international.
Are you from Africa?
You know,
The white man. If someone, one person, if one person
I tried to make one
has
point.
a diarrhea
You're not
in
listening.
Sierra Leone,
You don't listen
they
to
say
nobody.
Africa has diarrhea.
Your
One
problem,
person.
your
That's what they're
problem,
doing.
your problem is you don't listen to nobody.
No, I do.
Nobody make a point. You keep talking about this. This is racism. When you say it's racism, who are you referring to?
I'm referring to the person who talking about Arabs.
In what way? In what
Oh
way?
my God!
I said the
Arabs, I
Arabs.
respect Arabs. because they're
You
nation
need to
and
hit
do
the
not
point.
respect their regime.
You need to hit the
But
points.
their regime is racist.
Okay.
Saudi Arabia is racist. So
Yeah, but that's what
Arab
he's
United-
saying.
Yeah, but he's saying Arabs.
But it's Arabs who...
You talk about the nation. You talk about people.
Yeah, the
ethnicity.
nation. The
That's
nation.
wrong. That's wrong.
The nation.
No. Talk
How
about
you could be
regimes.
wrong? How you
Talk
could
about
be wrong
regimes.
if you talk about the
Because
nation?
people will understand wrong. If a white man come here,
So
and
what
talk
do you
about
say?
Arabs,
What do you
ridiculous.
say? No, you just say that the government
Yes, they're
of Saudi
racist.
Arabia
They're
is
rubbish.
They're rubbish,
Yes.
right? So we have
Not the people.
we have something to be against.
These
So
Arabs,
we have-
Arabs are working class. They have people who are starving. They have people in Palestine who are being annihilated.
Hey, Palestinian
These
is
are
African
Arabs.
land. Palestinian is
The
African land,
Zionists
bro.
want you to hate Arabs. Why? Because the Zionists are fighting Islam. They're not fighting Arabs.
Palestinian is
They're
African
fighting,
land.
they're fighting the religion.
Palestinian is
Now you
African
said
land.
We don't want to be a
Now you said
victim
that. Here's what
of
it is.
international
You've got a lot of
collaboration.
passion, oh, brother. You've got a lot.
We as Pan-Africans, we are full to that.
You're Pan-African.
Someone came to me and said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Sudan." He said, "You're an Arab fucked your grandmother,
Sudan.
and you're the product of it."
The thing is,
That's
brother,
racism.
How do we know you
No,
have
it's
it?
not. That could have happened.
Brother, how do we know you
It
don't
did
come
That's
from
happen.
racism.
It did happen. When you was fighting in South Sudan.
Just to support your point,
When you-
culturally, an Arab actually, there are two types of Arabs. There
Yes.
are Arab Musta'ariba or Arab Arab.
Yes.
Arab Araba are the people who are genetically born as Arabs. Arab Musta'ariba is people who become
Became Arab
either by
after the birth.
through marriage or through learning the language and practicing the customs. So that's basically.
Okay, listen.
I mean, I'm sorry, just to make my point. In my country, we still have a strong tribal Iraq. We still have a very
Iraq?
strong tribe. Yes, a strong
Yes,
tribal
Farsi
culture.
involved in them, yeah.
Tribal culture, you know.
Yeah, tribal.
Yes.
So we do have some families who say, well, we're from Janabi family, but when you go back through their, heritage, line of heritage, they don't actually belong to Janabi family,
Why are
but
you promoting them to?
they
why are you
lived with
promoting
Janabi
Arabs to
family,
I
they
am
married,
not-
but
I
they
am
didn't
not-
become
I
Janabi.
would vote for the
That's
president
totally
to talk
fine,
about
that's
Arab.
accepted by
And you
Arab
think
culture.
he's doing a Pan-African a good
So
job.
just to make a point.
Anyone.
And then,
We'll talk about
and
Arab,
then,
Arab,
let me-
Arab.
So I mean, it's
You are
regardless
calling
of
it
your
racism,
color
that's
or your
wrong.
no, remember what happened in Iraq itself.
Government, the officials.
With the
Not the normal person who...
with the Jinn people.
Everybody, all of
The
them.
Jinn people.
This is the issue, right?
Who was
I think there's self-esteem.
you could say, I don't like to use
Anytime you get any other group, you can't control it. We should be able to have that conversation because of what you have. We should be able to talk back and forth and find solutions. But how does all that help Africa?
There was
In the 90s, the races of the American the white supremacists, by talking Arab down, I say, if we talk Arab down, Pan-African will rise, and then we will keep the resources of South Africa themselves. That is giving a very bad service to Pan-African.
something more.
I'm saying it. Someone said to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Sudan. I'm Pan-African." And he said, "Look, don't tell me that you're an Arab. Because if you do, your grandmother will be fucked by an Arab." I said, "Your mother being fucked by someone."
We wouldn't go into that.
He didn't know who he was. And that kind of talk.
There was the people.
Let's add that to the
There was the black
conversation.
people in Iraq. In Iraq, because he's Iraqi. There was the black people in Iraq. In the 11th century, there was the most oppressed people. Like
They
how
were
the-
not-
hold
no,
on.
no, they were not-
Like
I
how
didn't
the
say they were
French-
more oppressed.
Like the whole the French
didn't
oppressed
say that.
people in Haiti. Everybody know what happened in Haiti. There was a big revolution.
Elder, just say it like
Under
this.
Toussaint.
All over West Africa. Make it easier.
All over. Yeah, from West Africa. Toussaint. Now, those people
Liberia.
took over Basra. And they
ruled Basra for 3
They
years.
took
or
over
4 years.
Basra and they formed a nation. All the Arab, Syria, all those Arab countries, Jordan, all of them joined together and
To
invade
defeat the revolution.
that revolution, who was being led by black people.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Who was led by black people. They joined together. And when you read the history, the thing that they say about black people, in order to unite all the Arabs to attack that revolution. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
What did they say? What did they say?
Just to be
They
fair.
call us dog. We stink. You know that. We are
to
animal. We are next to the animal.
to
They
support
call us all of them.
But they will know a land.
because I
They are in our land.
In Iraq, yeah, there was in Iraq.
But Iraq is our land.
To support your point. To support your point.
It's not fair. It happens.
Just New York 2 months enough.
I think you are descendant of
I totally support some of the points he said.
He's speaking history right here.
To support your point, there is a very famous Arab poet. A very famous one is called the Mutanabbi.
Yeah.
Okay. So he has unfortunately a famous, part of a poet where he condemns black people, and he says that you shouldn't let them, you shouldn't trust them and stuff
No,
like
you
that.
shouldn't let them with your
Yeah, and you shouldn't treat them unless with a stick.
Yeah.
That's what he says. In his quote.
Listen to the next point he's making. This man we could,
No, that's
he said that there was a famous Arab poet,
yeah.
right?
I think the brother knows about him.
And continue. I prefer you.
Yeah, but there's a background to it. Just
Yeah.
to
What,
be,
no, but
just to be
explain first and then give us the background.
So Mutanabbi was a very famous Arab poet. He was in a Hamdani state in northern Iraq. He traveled to Egypt when it was ruled by an African person whose name is Al-Akhshidi. Okay? I think he's from Ethiopia. And when he got in fight with the ruler back at the time, he decided to go back to Syria and northern Iraq where his old fellow was. And he said this very famous poet that's unfortunately up to date, it's still running, and
Yeah,
people
he
hear
does,
it all the
man.
time.
Yeah.
He calls
Funny enough,
Africans-
yeah.
He calls Africans, what do you say? لا تشتري العبد إلا والعصا معه إن العبيد إن كادوا إن العبيد إن كادوا something. So
What is the meaning?
Abid slave. Means slave.
Abid means slave. Yeah. So he says that don't buy a slave unless you have a stick, because they are basically filth. So you have to treat them like that. But at the same time, the point I'm making is al-abid is not a word that's only used for Africans. It's used for people that you buy or you win in war. Okay, so there are a lot of abid, a lot of slaves from Georgia, from Turkey, from Iran.
Yeah.
So from all nations.
Well,
but he was referring to Africans.
Yeah, in the point,
Yeah.
Till present day, in Morocco, in all this country, they refer to black people as Abd. Till now, today.
I know, in Iraq
They refer to.
Okay, let's get this, because what I'm saying is, this is the conversation to have, right? And I don't think we should really get overly passionate, right? That's what the brother was doing there. We should know that collectively, black people have no friends. If you don't know that, then
That's my point. That's my point.
Once you know
That's
that,
our
you can
point.
start-
That is
That's
our
the point.
point.
That's the
Collectively,
point.
no one likes black people, right? Africans know for, right? So what we have to make sure is we try, if we can,
So
educate the
when you,
brothers.
I'm sorry, when you say they have no friends in
No.
what terms?
Outside of
What I'm saying is,
the,
collectively, there's no collective group that is on the side of black people.
No.
There's none. There's no
Sure,
one.
100%.
There's no one. Nobody likes.
Everywhere you go in this
Not
world.
that I hear about.
There
Probably
is-
Gaddafi was.
No.
Yeah, but
no, but Gaddafi identified with Africa because the resources.
Oh, camera. Where's the camera?
They was
We need
going to build-
So let's try and learn something. Come on.
Gaddafi's survival had depended on Africa.
Hold on, fam.
Remember that. Gaddafi's own survival was dependent on the rest of
Well,
Africa.
let's try and teach on.
Because Gaddafi was a target
Right, every time.
by the other Arab countries and by the Europeans.
Well, here's what I'm saying, Uncle, right? We have to try to educate the community, because right now...
Yeah, but that's what we're doing, yeah.
The reaction the brother had, that's a learned behavior, right? But whenever you talk about other people...
He
why
doesn't,
you talk about other people?
he doesn't listen to nobody.
Yeah, but I'm saying we have to educate our people how to do it. How we do that is by understanding that collectively, black people have no friends. If you accept that philosophy, then you'll be okay. But if you don't, how the brother was acting is how you're going to act. So we have to try to train the youth not to be this.
The point I'm trying to make is I'm not trying to apologize.
No.
So because
we're just making history
I'm
a
personally
fact.
not guilty of anything.
No, no one said you should.
But the thing is, I think that it would be honest to say that people who lived in that part of the world, where there were clashes of civilizations and everything that, all that stuff, there was a big room for acceptance and tolerance, even for Africans.
For what?
for tolerance. Yeah, I mean, Africans, when they were slaves, they were accepted in those lands, and they became free men and free women. They had their own children.
Don't generalize about African, because it's not all African was
in
slaves.
Basra, you go to Basra, you go to
We're not
Imara,
disputing that. We're not disputing. What we're saying is collectively, black people have no friends. So when black people come together, don't talk about other people. Talk about black people. And find solutions. Don't do what the uncle was doing there, where he was going off on one, uncontrollable, for everyone to beloved and love Arabs and kind of stuff. It's not necessary to do that.
Let me explain something to you.
In the 21st century,
Let me bring it nearer home.
Subservience.
In England, right? Now, we've been in this land, England, what they call England today, a very long time. We not since the war, after the war with Germany. We've been here hundreds of years before the war. But at every turn, they just wipe us off. The British, when they was fighting the War of Independence in America, thousands of black people who were business people joined the British, because the British had said that if they had won the war, they would free all the rest of black people who were enslaved in America. The British didn't win the war, they lost the war. And when they was leaving, they had to take all the people who supported them with them. So they were still in Canada, so they sent people to Nova Scotia, they sent people to the Caribbean, and they brought thousands of black people here in England. They was promised that they would give them a pension, a war pension, because they was involved in that war with the British. When they came here, they didn't get a cent. All the white people who was brought here was given what they was entitled to. The black people was brought, and I'm talking about thousands of people in this.
Anybody could disagree with
and we give you the time in the 1750s. That was when they came here. They decided that they was going to find land for them in Africa. So they was going to go to Sierra Leone and find land to deport the black people who were here. You understand what I'm telling you? That's a bit of history about England. So when they tell you that only black people could free black people, there is a historical reason for it. That the black people who even fight with them end up being the losers. They was deported out of England and sent to Sierra Leone when all of them perished. So what I'm saying to you is that when we say that black people is the only one who's going to fight for our liberation, that doesn't mean to say they're not going to have white people, who say shit with the system that we now have here and fight. They are going to have white people who are going to fight. But we have to rely on ourselves. What it means.
Yeah, very easy. Collectively, black people have no friends. If you accept that philosophy, we will prosper. It's a very good
Everybody going to fight. But when it comes to us, we could only rely on ourselves. If the people in Morocco, if the people in Mali didn't organize to fight the Moroccans, Morocco was going to colonize Mali. Mali would have today be part of Morocco, and who you think would have been survived?
Moroccan Arab strikes to colonize Mali as well.
Huh?
Moroccan Arab strikes to colonize.
But they still know. They still know. What is this fight now in Mali to divide Mali?
Yeah, I think that's what I would like to spread for speaker school, right? Like black people have no friends, and once you accept that, you're going to start trying to find solutions. But if you don't accept that, how the uncle is behaving, he will keep on doing it.
Yeah, but
It will.
Of course.
So here's the idea, right? every other people do work very well at fixing their own issues.
Yes.
The only people that struggle is black people.
Yes.
That's because the history of colonization and being enslaved, mentally, you find subservient behavior where people put other people's needs before their own. So when you have your people, the people in your collective schooling, have been in this kind of stuff, years of this kind of treatment has made many black people feel like they're inferior and they're slaves. So what we have to do is people who are within knowledge, we have to go around and try to give people a sense of purpose and get them back into a part of society so they can contribute to black people collectively. Because they've been taken out and mentally they've been completely destroyed.
Saying that there is some sort of phenomena against Africans that they don't feel equal.
That's the thing. So the traditional essence epitome black Africans, the traditional Africans, those there, because of the years of colonization and mistreatment, and all that other stuff, right? There is an inferior complex in many of them, right? Because of that, the reaction you saw the uncle there is very, very indicative of that feeling, right? You'll never see an Arab or an Asian behave that way, like we saw then, defending Arabs, defending others with that kind of passion and zeal. And that's what it is. It's learned behavior. So people like me, we try to train our people.
I think he was more, you know, his emotions.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
Were based upon, you know, that
if black people
he
come
felt
together,
a bit, you know, attacked in his religion.
it was
I was just gonna, can I just elaborate on what he said? What he's elaborating is that black people have a mental illness of where they have a childlike, some of them we have, I used to have it. I'm going to say I used to have this as well. We have a mental illness of where we think that within the infrastructure we live in, the only sanctuary to get a better standard of living is through people other than ourselves. So through Arab men or through white men. So we have this, how can we explain this, it's kind of sad. It's like we underdemean our own intelligence and we feel we're not of caliber to raise our own standard of living, and then we start to believe that we can only raise our economy if we go through the Arabs. We can only become more spiritual if we go through the whites. We can only, we can only better ourselves if we go through other people's systems. But what this gentleman's trying to say to you is this, is that, now this is not an attack on white men or Arab men,
I don't understand.
but it's just a case of where black people need to get together alone to sort out their house what's on fire. It's simple as that. They need to congregate alone to work out their houses what's on fire. Simple as. The house is on fire.
It's totally fair, but to be honest, I mean, this inferiority complex, I
used to have it.
In my own experience, it's not restricted to Africans. I mean, it's not more. It's not as much as. Could I just explain what I mean? It's not as much of an inferiority complex as much as it is the superiority of white complex. Because we Arabs, to be honest, we have the exact same issue in our communities. We discuss that all the time. Although it is almost always discussed behind closed doors, but it is actually a big issue that, you know, and I don't think it's a part of a complex much as more as it is probably a problem of, you know, media domination, because, you know, media is dominated by the whites, obviously.
It's not media though,
So
it's more
is
to
it-
it than being just a media thing. It's to do with how
Well, it has to be to do with the media. I mean,
how
to be honest, if we go back to the
how
50s,
we was colonized. You know, first there was equality.
just to support your point, if you go to Hollywood movies, for example, the black man is always, or let's just say that the bad man almost always is an African. Yeah, not anymore, but it used to be for a quite long period of time.
Because
It
now,
used to
now
be always, you know,
Denzel Washington
yeah,
is one of the big
Thanks to him.
names in Hollywood.
yeah.
Can I just end this here? Because he tried to say that we got this site. You see, what he tried to do is hijack it and say there's a similarity. But let me explain something to you.
I'm not trying to
Oh,
hijack
no,
it,
let me
but
just
I'm,
jump
I'm
on.
just saying that there is similarity.
Then let's jump
I'm
on
not
this
trying
now.
to say it
Black
doesn't
people's
exist
house is on fire and the roof is blown off. The Arab people's just got a couple of broken windows. you've not lost your actual real language. No. You've not lost your real land in such a great amount, right?
You didn't lose your religion.
You've not lost your true religion. You've not lost your true diet. You just got a couple of broken windows. Your house is not on fire. See, so end it there. Don't try and hijack it. Oh no, we're all in the same boat. We hold hands. One love, Bob Marley.
No.
I'm not saying that. It's not a hate. It's not a hate. We just have to be realistic.
And the people of Basra, the black
We
people
have
in
to be
Basra,
realistic. It's your choice to speak English. It's your choice. You have a choice to speak English.
the black people in Basra
You
are
know what I
still
mean?
saying that they are being
have a
pushed
choice.
aside today.
There is racism in Iraq. I never said that there wasn't.
They're saying that.
But as I
They're
explained
calling
to
on
the
the rest
brother-
of the world to help us here.
I don't think it's really like a very passionate kind of, it's just facts, right? I'm saying that as black people come together and just know the facts, and we don't need to be passionate and hullabaloo stuff. It's like black people have no friends. No one likes black people. Once you accept that, we can move to actually build it. If you don't accept that, we're going to keep being subservient. Build, that's what it is.
And when you have that mentality, then you'll make friends because people have respect. You see?
But the motivation is there is no
Obviously,
interest.
we're not trying to do this to get respect or friends.
The
Build our
first
own.
thing is fix your own house, right?
Yeah.
There's not one Arab, Chinese, Asian person to sit down and tell you collectively their group has any respect for black people. There's not one. Yeah. So it's like this kind of make believe that people want to go in makes no sense.
100.
Like I said, I don't intend to talk about any non-black person, but because black people are so conditioned, every time we talk about black people, they bring up non-black people.
Yeah.
So we need to uncondition ourselves and do better. That's what it is.
I mean, to be honest, I never realized that it was a big issue amongst Africans, as a whole. I always thought that Africa has its own problems, internal conflicts.
Okay, see, so where are you from? Where are you from?
From Iraq.
Iraq. Collectively, how do Iraqis think of black people, Abis? How do they roughly think of them? Very favourably or not too favourably?
I think it depends.
Collectively, not collectively.
It depends on the person. I mean, in what context you're talking.
As a
For
mass,
example,
as a mass.
You have to specify which person.
What is the
you're talking
biggest black population in Iraq?
about. You mean as
Yeah, those that didn't kill us.
countrymen?
Those that didn't kill us. The Arabs didn't kill us. Let me be straight.
I mean,
those that the
to
Arabs
be
didn't kill us.
honest, we still use the word Abid up to date.
Yes, and that is a general among
among
among non-African,
I'm being genuine
among
with you.
non-African.
Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, you know that, we know that, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is,
Well, I didn't know.
I didn't know that. I learned that.
I
today.
didn't
what
know
I'm saying is
that. I learned that
hold
today.
on.
That's why I was-
Hold on. Let's use the philosophy. Collectively, nobody likes black people.
Yes.
Yeah? Collectively. So that means you know that in all the nations there are words for black people, right? That's what it is. So this passion we keep showing is irrelevant. We just focus in, right? We can bring any person here, they'll say the same thing. This is what it is, right? We need every black person to be speaking like me. When we speak like me, then we're going to find solutions. But if not, we're going to constantly be looking for friends.
Yeah.
Collectively,
Yeah.
black people have no friends.
Yeah.
Ain't that right? Ain't that right? Ain't that right? There you go. Once black people accept that, we can start building, right? The only reason why people want to deceive you and think that you have friends is because they want to keep you in subjugation. They want you to do for them. Let's not fall for that. This is the okie doke. It's too old. We're too old and too smart to fall for that.
What?
Right? Let's just build. Go on, bro. You want to say something? So my Jamaica and Dominica. Yeah, I'm Caribbean. Where you from? You're Nigerian, right? Yoruba, Igbo, Igbo. Okay, there you go. Right? So from a Nigerian, you should know that. Yeah, that collectively, no one likes black people.
When you laugh.
If you know that,
From a Nigerian, you know what he said? From a Nigerian, you should know.
Like I said, what I don't understand is how we can all know this, but yet there is no actual maneuvering to try to better. No, there's not.
What I mean by that is they didn't come to us for
What I'm saying is,
Which
as
one
a
goes
Nigerian, that as a black person in England,
but the Eastern
that
Europeans
doesn't
came
benefit. That way of thinking doesn't benefit.
after the...
That way of
They
thinking
came in the
doesn't benefit.
churches and missionaries. Most of them are priests.
No, trying to find neutral and allies doesn't help you as a black person. No, listen.
no.
If you name a people group, there are words for you to describe how inferior to them. Yeah, there's no need. There's no need for you to look for allies amongst that. Look for allies amongst your own people. The Yoruba, the Hausa, the man from Ghana, anywhere, right? Anywhere where there are black people, look for them and build. Yeah, that's if you do that, you will prosper. If you don't do that, yeah, you'll be finished. These are the facts. If you look,
But that is what it's leading to.
yeah. If you look at any kind of metric, right? Black people operate the bottom so much, right? Because we struggle at teamwork. Teamwork. Yeah. If we can master teamwork, yeah, with the individual skills, black people will prosper. These are just the facts. Yeah. Like I said, there should be no one knocking us down when I come here, basically. Innit? Yeah. You have to speak up, brother. You know, wait, hold on. What is it that you don't want to say publicly? Is it? Okay, that's fair, but you can't talk loudly. Go ahead.
So, when you look at these issues with the Caribbean in general, you were never really given a chance to kind of flourish as people who were oppressed, subjugated, forced to work for generations.
Right.
So, by the time you received your freedom, you were demoralized for so long.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to kind of come together as a group of people when you've had an oppressor on your back before you.
Yeah, that's why we're doing things now, bro. Really, that's why.
Yeah, but
it isn't just the Caribbean, bro. It's the whole.
I'm just giving a small example.
It's all Black Africa.
No, what you have done there,
Americans are probably doing the best.
no, what you have done there is that you have left a lot of people from the Caribbean who champion Pan-Africanism, who refused, who lived in England in the early 20s, who lived in England here, like people like Judge Padmore, who was one of the, in Ghana, when Nkrumah took independence, Judge Padmore was the one who, who trained Nkrumah, even to be a politician. He was here in England. You understand? We just put a plaque for him a few weeks ago up in Mornington Crescent up there. Judge Padmore, one of the names that you have to remember. So when you talk about Caribbean people, talk about Marcus Garvey. No.
I know.
You was giving us some negative response about Caribbean. The Caribbean people stopped being. No, let me explain to you. You see the revolution in Haiti under Toussaint? We stopped being, and the rebellion in Jamaica in 1865 with Paul Bogle. We stopped being slaves from then. They didn't give us freedom. We stopped. We become African again. You understand?
Did Malcolm X help things in Africa as well?
Huh?
Did he help get some of their independence or something?
Of course, that's what I'm talking
And
about.
his mother's Grenadian, so he's half West Indian. So
Who?
Malcolm X is half West Indian. His mother's Grenadian. Malcolm X.
Oh, Malcolm, yeah.
So even Caribbean people helped African people get the foot off their neck.
What he was saying, the reason why I take him on is to highlight to him
They were never able
that
to
the
achieve
Caribbean
the same level
people
of economic
have been
power
stopped
because
being
they were-
slaves
they were
from
subjugated for
18.
That's what I'm saying. It's
When we won the revolution in Haiti, we had stopped being slaves there.
Yeah.
We was not. And those was a lot of the people who fought in the revolution in Haiti, like Toussaint, he came from Benin.
But I want you to think about the difference. I want you to think about this concept.
Hmm?
I want you to think about this. There's a
From
difference
Jamaica,
between
yeah.
being enslaved and freeing yourself from being enslaved, and then building a strong nation relative to yourself,
And we had built strong nation in the Caribbean.
and a nation that was never enslaved. Just building,
No,
building,
today
building,
there's a
building.
today there's a big movement today.
But now they're not strong as they used to be.
There's a big movement today that talk about reparation, right?
Yeah. Say the last point and I'm going to dig, because I've kind of been drawn
No,
to...
no. There's a big movement
Ask
now.
him where he was from, that's the one.
There's a big movement amongst black people that talk about reparation. That those people who enslaved us, who colonized us, who stole our resources, have to give us back.
And it should be done in the form of actually investing in the infrastructure of the country. That's what I think.
Makes sense, yeah.
Hospitals, buildings, roads, education.
Yeah, it's talking about reparations.
It should be done by investing into the infrastructure.
But no one's going to give you reparations if you don't have some kind of unity.
Unity. That's what. That yeah. You must be
And they
together.
banked on that. They banked on that.
It should be like American states. You have different countries, but they're all united.
CARICOM.
The Privy Council
That is
runs,
all the Caribbean nations.
yeah, the Privy Council and the IMF run the Caribbean. There is no, you know that anyway, man. The Privy Council runs the law side, and the IMF, International Monetary Fund, regulates the banks. That's who controls the Caribbean. Ain't no black leader control nothing.
No.
That's the point we're trying to make about being connected. Isn't it?
No.
IMF
No,
and
the
Privy
people.
Council run
No,
it.
what there's the difference between those politicians and the people. You see what happened in Jamaica when the prince came down a couple of weeks ago, and people came out and said, we don't want to celebrate you. We want you to give us back what you stole from us. When they went to Antigua, the same thing happened. When they went to Belize, the same thing happened.
Oh yeah,
This
I heard
is-
Belize one.
yeah. So we are moving as a people. We're leaving the politician behind, but we are moving as a people.
It's when the Privy Council and the IMF, that's when the
But
real...
that is what we are attacking.
Yeah. But the thing you have to understand, they got to put on the leaders next. The leaders of the Caribbean, you have to actually have compassion for them because...
Why you have a passion for?
No, the reason why I've got a compassion for them is because the Europeans have them in a stranglehold where
You know what
they
Caribbean
got
is?
something on their family, they got either got slander on them, or they've got something on them to keep them
You
in
know
that
what
place.
thing you have to listen about Caribbean politicians in the
Yeah, they've got slander. or
Today,
they've got threats to their life.
there's a big trade going on in the Caribbean right now, as I speak to you. There's a trade where they're selling passport nationality
Oh yeah, I know.
all kinds of crooked people.
I know.
You understand?
Citizenship for sale.
And that means they're selling our birthright. That is what they're selling. They're trading. Not selling, they're trading. You understand? Like what this